Yo, we talking hornets, heaters, web gems too. Breaking down the lead, bringing facts to you. From the Bronx to the Bay, every team, every game, it's around the league. No big game James. Around the league, every night. Big time moments, stadium lights. Hails in the infield, bringing the flame. It's around the league with big game James. With big game James. Round of the victory, big game James. Big game James.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the third edition or third episode of Around the League with me, James. Of course, be sure to follow along here on all the social media platforms and check out all the sponsors. I think it's 3 weeks away from the first opening games, and I can't wait till April 4th and 5th to get out to the Big A to watch some Angels baseball, and best believe I'll be down in San Diego for some Padres baseball as well. But the season's almost here, and spring training still going on right now, and we'll go through all of that. So again, be sure to watch all the programs. I watched, of course, Fernando and Todd's show, kind of breaking down what's been going on in spring training. And then with all the Angels that have really came out hitting, talking about Kyron Paris, and then the breakdown by Dominic Lorenz and Catella Chronicles on the minor league report the other day. I learned a lot about the top 30 prospects that the Angels have. Again, the worst farm system in the league, but there has to be 30, and everybody has them. So we'll get into Around the League here. I'll take you around the world real quick of the Major League Baseball and some of the big stories, of course. Now, I wish there were games to talk about, but they don't count in spring training. So I figured, why the hell would I talk about the games and the results? I could tell you maybe players who are doing well, but it might be against, minor leaguers. I'd rather the games count. So we'll get to that eventually soon, hopefully 3 weeks from right now. Actually, March 18th and 19th, remember, the Cubs and Dodgers will have a 2-game regular season start. I believe it was in Japan. Yeah, out in Japan. So until we could get to that, we'll get into this. So some spring training news and notes going on, some headlines. There's always something going on. And of course, we have to start, unfortunately, with the New York Yankees and the headline right here. Garrett Cole of New York will undergo Tommy John surgery, knocking him out for the 2025 season and probably the start of the 2026 season. In the spring of 2024, if you remember, he was also out until June. Last year, he had an injury in the spring, and they feared the worst. But you go into this spring, and the worst has happened, where he needs a Tommy John on his elbow. He felt a little something last Thursday, the start against Minnesota. He got rocked, and he gave up home runs, hits, and he said quickly something didn't feel right. He mentioned on social media he wants to get back as soon as he can. The goal and the dream for him was to play for the Yankees and to win a championship, of course. That's what they expect. And Garrett Cole just feels awful about missing out this year and some of next year, of course. Now, talking about the New York Yankees rotation, they're looking for starter help since they're already down 2 starters. Remember, Lewis Hill, the Rookie of the Year last season, is out with a lat strain. About 4 more weeks once we get to Sunday. So he's going to miss probably his first start of the season, maybe 2 starts of the season. Just depends how he comes back from that. And then now you have Garrett Cole. So they're looking in the trade market. Not much is out there other from Sandy Alejandro from Miami. And Miami, of course, they're always looking to unload, whomever shines for them. And it would make sense that the Yankees make a big splash. So I say want to go all in every year. You saw what they did after Soto denied them. They went out and got Max Fried and some other free agents out there. So they do have a good rotation, but the two missing are pretty huge pieces. So look out for the Yankees. The rumors, of course, talking with the Angels side, was that Tyler Anderson, lefty, he throws kind of weak. He would have to locate better. In that ballpark, though, Yankee Stadium, new Yankee Stadium, boy, I don't know if he'll make it there. That old song, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. But man, I don't know. You have to throw fast at Yankee Stadium. Unless you're really fooling hitters with the off-speed stuff, I just wouldn't see it happening. But let's see if the Angels can fleece the Yankees maybe with the Tyler Anderson trade. We'll see what happens from there. So, yeah, again, Garrett Cole out for this season and the start of next season with Tommy John surgery. Trying to avoid it. Got a second opinion. Saw Dr. Job in Southern California. And has to go through with it. So, yeah, Yankees with all the injuries going on. You talk about Stanton with the 2 surgeries, one on each elbow. Talking with a good friend the other day on another show that I do, and it just seems amazing how he's able to swing but not really use his legs. And I don't know if that has any strain on his elbows. That's what. But he's been injured, it seems like, the last 5 years anyway. Remember a couple years ago it was a hamstring issue. He wasn't running around the bases well last year. Oh, there's always some type of strains going with him as well. So the Yankees going through it right now, and the season hasn't even started. But like I mentioned last week, Marcus Stroman might be his time to step up for New York. Okay, so we'll stay in the AL East and stay in Florida. But we'll talk about No Way Blue Jays. The Blue Jays, it came out that they offered first baseman Vladimir Guerrero Jr. a $500 million contract with deferrals last month. And Vlad and his crew turned it down. And although significant deferrals put an estimate of the actual net present value of the offer between $400 and $450 million, Vladdy, of course, it seems like every week, from what I read, kept upping the price. Now, we were just talking about the Yankees and how they might be in play to make that trade. But the only thing is, they need starting pitching now. They don't need hitting as much. I mean, it would just seem like an excess. Although you lose Stanton for some part of this season as well. But it would just seem like an excess of hitting, but you really need starters. So that's the only problem with this. It's the only problem with it. So yeah, he turned down the extension offer, but believing that he's going to get more. Now, I don't think it would be, a Juan Soto type of contract for Vladdy Guerrero Jr. for Vladdy, but this is tough, and I want everybody who watches in the comments to say how much you would give Vladdy and how long maybe on that contract, because they were probably thinking 500 million. It was like the Otani, situation where, remember, the Angels were already was only offering 500 million, and you knew the price was going to be well above that. So the Blue Jays kind of did the same situation where they lowballed Vladdy Jr. and knowing that they have to trade him somewhere. But would they trade him in division to the Yankees? It always seems like that might be the case. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you would give Vladdy Jr. based on his numbers, based on, us all being Angel fans, wherever you may be, and knowing what his father meant to the Angel organization, where he's the only Hall of Famer. So, yeah, that's kind of interesting to think if the Angels got rid of Shanuel to bring in Vlad Jr., but they don't have much else they can give up. Again, like I mentioned at the top of the show, the farm system just isn't giving anything out that I think a lot of teams would want back. Prospects just wouldn't be there unless it was taking a risk and knowing that Vladdy would stay. But like we always talk about with the Angels organization, Artie just doesn't want to spend as much anymore because he's been scarred by previous big contracts. And I understand that. I get it. Totally get it now. All right. Next topic here. It's kind of fun. But I've been itching to get to a ballpark. I might go see the Trojans in UC Irvine, hopefully soon. But USA Today had their 2025 1 to 28 baseball's best ballparks for 2025. And this is from Jesse Yamtov from USA Today. I think I'll go from the bottom to the top. And let me know what you think is the best ballpark in the comments, or at least the top 5. And where do you rank Angel Stadium from 1 to 28? I guess they're saying 28 because, Steinbrenner Park or Steinbrenner Field isn't one. And then Sutter Health Park is a minor league. Both are minor league ballparks for the A's and Rays. I guess that's where they're getting at. But all right, so let's start. Let's go from the bottom to the top. And some of these might be a little bit of a surprise. Now, I mentioned the Tampa Bay Rays having to be playing at George M. Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, where they should be. If they could get something downtown or near where the Bucks play, and not in St. Pete, that was all over the news too. I should have put that as a topic, but there's been such a mess. Now the league is trying to force Steinberg, the Rays owner, to sell, so they would keep the team in the area. But I hope not in St. Pete. It just didn't make sense, right? The maps, if you look at a map and you look, Tampa Bay's over here, or reverse it in your site. Tampa Bay's over here, and St. Pete is way over here. The fans are over here, but they have to travel way over here to go to Rays games. That's why their attendance is so damn low. Now, the home of the Rays this year is the single A Tampa, I almost said tampons, but Tarpons. It opened back in 96. Wow. And they only draw, the capacity, I should say, is 11,026. Now, they might have added some more. Maybe not. But that's what the Rays are dealing with. And remember, they only averaged just a little bit more than that last few years, even though they've been winning and going to the playoffs, making the wild cards. division titles before, still nobody goes. That's the problem. So that's all that on the Rays. Look out for that being a story throughout the season. If Steinberg has to sell the Rays, if MLB forces them because of revenues. Think about the same issue with the A's being in. Uh, well, they don't want you to say Sacramento, but the A's going to be in Sutter Health Park, West Sacramento. It's the home of the San Francisco Giants AAA team, the Sacramento River Cats. It was opened back in 2000, and the capacity is 14,000. I think they moved it up to 16,000, I want to say, up in West Sacramento. So we'll see what happens with that. All right, so going back to the rankings, or starting the rankings. Number 28 is Guarantee Rate Field, or they call it Rate Field, I guess now. And that's home of the Chicago White Sox. It was opened back in 1991. It holds 40,615, but they haven't had that ever. Now, I did see their promotional schedule, and it's an important year so in the organization, so they have a lot of historic giveaways. So hopefully that will bring some people on the south side to games. But the baseball won't be good. Remember, they lost 121 games last year. They were 41 and 121. And the stadium, it just seems dark and dreary and cold, especially in the early months of the season, April, May, June. It just... And by the way, they had to shed capacity some years back at the top deck of the stadium. So they kind of knew less people were going here. And there's always a thought. I remember there was a thought, I think last September, where the White Sox may be looking to move to Nashville, Orlando, Portland, wherever the expansion talk is going. So the White Sox have the 28th ranked ballpark. 27 is maybe a surprise for me, but it's Chase Field of Arizona, the Diamondbacks. It opened back in 98. It holds 48,663. Now, I hear a lot of people like it, but the air conditioner sometimes has issues there, and then there's too many seats upstairs, and it's usually always empty unless the Dodgers are there, or the Padres, or like 2023 has postseason games. But the pool's in right field. You know, the what do you call it? The screens poke out whenever the weather's not like hell conditions out in center field, so it makes it look nice. But rest of the time, the retractable roof has to be closed because of the triple-digit heat in the summer. So, yeah, they're at 27. 26 is Great American Ballpark for the Cincinnati Reds. It opened back in 03, 42,271. Now, this is maybe not so much of a surprise, maybe too much capacity, and the Reds aren't that good. They're starting to build up. They have a new manager, by the way, Terry Francona. White Sox have Will Venable as their new manager. But the Reds, I'm kind of shocked. I don't know if I'm shocked by it, but maybe they have too many outfield seats, or just if the Reds were maybe a little better, maybe the ranking would be better, or they don't have the landmarks out in center field like PNC does, so maybe that's the reason why. I don't know. Nationals Park is 25th in Washington for the Nationals. I'm kind of surprised they haven't had a corporate name to give them some revenue there. But that opened back in 08. They played at RFK for 3 seasons, 05 to 07, when they moved from Montreal. That holds 41,339. Rarely sold out, if ever. I think there's too many seats there. And then also the press box is way upstairs. So I know a lot of the announcers, broadcasters don't like that. So maybe that's why, too, at 25. 24 is American Family Field, or Miller Park, as I still call it, for Milwaukee, the Brewers. Opened back in 01. 41,900. Now, remember last year, the year before, MLB was pressuring them to renovate the stadium. So put suites in, change up the seating in a way, make it more modern maybe. I don't know what else you could do to that stadium. I know they put a new scoreboard in center field, but I'm kind of shocked that they had to do this. They put two new scoreboards actually from the picture I'm seeing. One in center and then one in right. I don't think that appease MLB, but I can't see Milwaukee losing their team off of that though. All right, number 23 is Angel Stadium, of course, where we've all been. Opened 1966. The capacity 40,603. Not even opening day or when the Yankees or the Red Sox come, or, well, I think when the Dodgers come. That's the only time it's truly sold out. Angel Stadium, you heard Todd mention this and others where, you see cracks in the foundation and the seats are, the faded color of green. I don't know if you're sick of seeing the rock pile. I don't know what you think out there, but it needs an upgrade. I know that. There needs to be a whole new stadium with, revenue and infrastructure outside of it. Remember, already tried to get a legal deal done, but couldn't get done. But I don't know what else is wrong with Angel Stadium other from that. It just needs an upgrade of some sort. And then, of course, we all know the fans haven't shown up in a while because of all the losing. So there it is. Globe Life Field is 22nd on this list. The new Texas Ranger ballpark that opened only in 2020. Remember, it was the home of the 2020 NLDS, and World Series, I want to say, in 2020. 40,300. Now, I know Fernando can talk about the stadium more because he's been a multiple amount of times. The power hitters don't like it. The fences are too far away. I think because they play in a retractable roof as well, the ball doesn't travel as further as Globe Life Park did, or America Quest Field, whatever it was called, Texas Rangers Ballpark in Arlington, whatever it was. Remember they had the All-Star game, I believe, last year there, and that didn't do well. I think it's based on the seating too. There's weird sections there behind, on the side of home plate. It looks modern, but the renderings looked better than the finished project. And then I think outside of it too, how it looks like a barbecue grill. At least the roof, the silver roof, makes it look like a barbecue grill.
You're watching the Halos in the Infield Network, proudly sponsored by 714 Tickets. At 714 Tickets, the price you see is the price you pay, no hidden fees. Plus, enjoy an additional 10% off with the code HITI at checkout. Visit them at 2424 East Catella Avenue in Anaheim or online at 714tickets.com. Now, a toast to our friends over at Noble Ale Works. Stop by their tap room at 1621 South Sinclair Street, Suite B in Anaheim. You can also visit them online at noblealeworks.com. Enjoy exclusive drink discounts when you mention HITI when ordering. Plus, if you're heading to the game afterward, park for free at Noble. And finally, our friends over at the OC Dugout, your go-to spot for the best in sports memorabilia. From autographed gear to rare collectibles to exclusive in-person autograph signings, they've got it all. Visit them at 1928 East Center Street in Anaheim or shop online at theocdugout.com. Tell them Halos in the Infield sent you.
21 is Rogers Center, and it opened in 89, 41,500. But the thing is, they renovated it inside, of course. You still have the retractable roof that takes forever to close. But they put in new seating, new social spaces, especially in the outfield. And then they have those seats right next to the bullpens. And I'm surprised we haven't seen like a pitcher go crazy because of somebody giving a reliever a hard time. So they did a great job with the renovation. There is a lot of seating there though, but maybe because it's a little bit older, that's why it's only 21st on this list. Number 20 is Yankee Stadium. Opened in 09, 50,287. Now, you saw the 30 for 30 probably about Steinbrenner, and then the new Yankee Stadium. Now in center field, you're able to see, I think, one side of the field, depending how close you are sitting to the center in the outfield. But there's TVs there, but it's kind of a nuisance, I think, to sit out in the outfield there. And then, yeah, they put not decorations, but they put the old facades upstairs with the flags of every team and American flags, Canadian probably flags as well there, or flag. But it still holds true to power hitters loving the place because of the jet stream going to right field. And then it always seems like in right field the wall's short, and then it's closer to home plate. It always seems like it's just not the old Yankee Stadium, right? And I think that's the problem people have, where all those ghosts, you kind of believed it with the old Yankee Stadium. The new one just seems corporate, and it doesn't tell the history of the Yankees as well as the old one did. And by the way, Fernando did a video some years back where he went to Yankee Stadium and had a review on it. So check that out on this channel for Fernando going to Yankee Stadium, giving his opinion about it. Progressive Field in Cleveland is number 19 for the Guardians. Jacobs Field. In 1994, now it only holds 34,830. Remember, it had a streak of like 270 plus sellouts in the 90s. Then the team started to do worse eventually. They've been to some playoffs here and there, but they've lost some key players to trade or injury, or they just faded out. So they reduced capacity in right field, upper right field, I should say. They added, like bars and carriers were up there showing, retired numbers and names. And then down the left field line, they have a suite or a restaurant, like kind of suite area they've been working on for 3 years. And that's going to be, I think, completed this year. So they're trying to get revenue out of that. But the city skyline looks great with Quicken Loans Arena to the left there. I don't know what it is, but it is something, though, that they're ranked higher than Yankee Stadium for Cleveland. All right, number 18 is Lone Depot Park of the Marlins, of course. Opened back in 2020. Remember, Miami didn't get to vote on it, the residents. It was a private, beyond closed doors deal that got done, and the taxpayers paid for it even though they didn't want it. They're playing that, Joe Robbie forever did the Marlins, and they won a couple of titles, and ever since then, other from 2020, they haven't made the playoffs. And all the good players, they just leave. Anyway, 37,442. It's only sold out when the Yankees or when they have a WBC game there. And also, I saw a game with the Savannah Bananas playing there, and that was almost sold out. But rest of the time, all you see is the blue seats. Now, Derek Jeter came in a couple years back, got rid of that horrible ass, artsy sculpture in left center field. made it a social place. Behind the home plate, he used to have this fish tank, and I remember it was cracked actually at one point. Foul ball hit it, but Jeter came and got rid of all that, trying to make the stadium, looking professional, but it's lost its like charm. Now it just looks like a futuristic ballpark, but they also have some weird seating capacities out in, I think, right field. But left field, they have that view of Miami that a lot of other teams are trying to get for their future stadiums. Just look at the A's renderings for Las Vegas, and you can see that, I believe, out in left field. All right, number 17 is Busch Stadium for the Cardinals. It was open back in 06, 45,494. Now I remember when it opened, there was seats above or down the left field line upstairs that weren't ready yet. I always remember that. So that was something, but it seems like it's lost its charm. It's not the old Busch Stadium, but remember, it was a cookie cutter kind of shared stadium. It looks good, but a lot of seats. And again, lately, since they've been bad, a lot of people haven't shown up, so it's unfortunate. So that's number 17. Number 16 is Truist Park in, Cobb County, Georgia, not Atlanta. But I think it's a nice ballpark. I think I don't think it's underrated, or not underrated. I think it's underrated, but it just looks like a colossal stadium. A lot of seats. The right field wall is far and high away. Left field is pretty far too. You really got to get it out to hit it out for a home run. So the Braves, a new ballpark. The thing about it too, though, they have a nice restaurant on right field, infrastructure around the ballpark, which everybody's trying to do now. The Mets are doing that in Queens. So Truist Park is 16. 15 is Daikin Park. Careful. Houston Astros. It opened back in 2000, 40,963. Now, they got rid of Taj Hill. That was out in center field for years. They have the Crawford boxes out in left, and then the high wall left center. We talked about Altuve last week, getting used to playing left center in spring training. He has not fared well. Kind of a bandbox there with home run hitters. Kyle Tucker loved it, but now he's with the Cubs at Wrigley. But it's held up all these years. They haven't really done much to it. The sad part is they got rid of the train with all the oranges, of course, because it's not Man-Made Park anymore. But they got rid of that train up in left field on the tracks near the glass panels. So I think people are going to talk about that. Number 14 is Comerica Park, and I'm kind of shocked it's ranked this high for the Tigers. Maybe the views of the city, I don't know if there's any charm to it. They tried to make it like PNC back in 2000, or try to make it sort of like that with the seats upstairs especially. I'm kind of shocked it's 14th. It opened 2000, 41,083. They finally got people to get back to the games last year with the winning team. Hopefully they keep that going on with the Tigers. But yeah, Comerica Park at 14. 13 is Citizens Bank Park. Phillies, they've had great attendance the last, feels like since 21. They're winning games, going to the playoffs, signing big free agents. That ball travels there very well. It's a very unique park for its time. It was opened in 04. They left, the vet forever. They were there 42,901. So I guess it's good where it is. Kauffman Stadium, Kansas City Royals, is number 12. That was opened in 73. They also shed some capacity, 37,900 03. They made some renovations out in left and right center where they put seats where the fountains are. Looks nice. Eventually, they're talking about moving downtown, but they haven't got the votes yet to do it, and hopefully they don't. Everybody likes the accessibility to Kauffman Stadium. Citi Field's number 11 for the Mets is open back in 09. Looks like it has more seats than it really has, but 41,800. A lot of seats up in left field. A lot of restaurants from what I saw there. Shake Shack is a big deal there. I don't think, other from like right behind the right field pole, foul pole, it's like Texas. Other from that, there's not a bad seat at Citi Field. Target Field is number 10. It was open back in 2010. 38,544. Now, Target Field, it's nice, but you have to deal with the elements. But you get a good view of the downtown skyline. And there's a lot of seats in there that are pretty unique. You got a bright field with the small seats up there, and they have the high wall that's up there as well. And then, left field, you have those odd outfield seats where it's upper deck, 2 decks there. You have a basic around the field seats there. All right, number 9 is T-Mobile Park, Safeco Field for Seattle. Opened in 99, 47,929. The nice view of the city if you're sitting down the right field line and upstairs. You got the retractable roof to help people from getting out of the rain, since it rains all the time. They added a social space out in left center that's been really good to them. So it's held up all these years, has T-Mobile Park. Number 8 is Coors Field, the Rockies. 95, it opened in 50,480 now. A lot of people don't show up anymore. That's why they put bars up in right center. I'm sorry, in the right field bleachers. They got rid of seats and put social spaces. That's been a big deal up there for them. The outfield, left field looks pretty cool, but the seating's basically general for the rest of the ballpark, but it's held up. Dodger Stadium, they made renovations to it. They're number 7, especially in center field and the bleacher seats in the left and right. They made renovations in time for the All-Star game earlier this decade. It still holds 56,000. Opened 1962, and it just looks amazing after all these years. And they actually renovated the clubhouses, and they had construction like the day after the parade and the rally they had for the championship. So they got to work on that right away, and I'm interested to see how the clubhouses look and the new seating around the field. But it looks pretty much the same. The new seating is just they added new stuff, and the Dodgers always seem to be on the forefront of doing that. And they have a lot of a lot of money to spend and a lot of money to charge. Enjoy the $30 beer I saw I've seen, $50 parking. Well, anyway. Enjoy that, Dodger fans. Petco Park, which is number 6 on this list, 2004. It opened up 40,209. For me, I think it's number 1. I've been there so many times. All the craft beer you can want, plus the other beers. There's really not a bad seat in the house, unless you sit like upstairs down the lines. But you have the Western Mail Supply Company building, a lot of history in the ballpark. They used to have a beach area, but now it's kind of like a boardwalk area you can sit in. The hill is still out there, but they made renovations to make it more of a social space beyond center field. Just about everything is at Petco Park. The food's awesome. Hopefully, if you haven't gone, you should go. So that's number 6. Number 5 is Fenway Park. It's a gym through all these years. It opened back in 1912. Holds 37,755. Still has a green monster. Has the seats up there since what, '03, I want to say '04, but they're able to keep it going after all these years, and not really add seats, but other from the monster, but they add some seats around the horn, and it's still holding up again after all these years. They added some added a new what do you call it? New dugouts as well, so that really helped out. Oriole Park at Cadman Yards is number 4 for the Orioles in Baltimore. 1992 holds 44,970, and finally, the last couple of years, people have come back to Baltimore to watch the Orioles. They had walkouts years back, but the new owners have come in and they haven't spent money on players, but they've kept the ballpark going. They had the new left field, which I think they brought in a little bit this season, but that was kind of awkward having a further back left field because the road teams of the AL East kept hitting home runs. But the ballpark has held up. It's been amazing. And even I've heard they're going to stay there for a little while. Number 3 is Wrigley Field, of course. 1914 opened at 41,649. The thing I don't like about it is the new scoreboards out in left and right field, but they needed video scoreboards, and they were not going to get rid of the center field scoreboard, obviously. So that's there. Number 3, just a gem of a ballpark, no doubt about it, for Wrigley. Number 2 is Oracle Park. You get McCovey Cove, not really a bad seat in the house. The bleachers are fun. The scoreboard in the center is pretty cool. Not much you say, just bring a sweater. Number 1 ballpark in all of Major League Baseball, according to this article, PNC Park of the Pirates opened up in '01. Oracle Park was 2000. Wow. So 2001, PNC Park, 38,747. The attendance, and unfortunately, people don't go as much because, the team just never spins and the good players leave. Just look at Garrett Cole. But they have, bobbleheads to sell, and then the venue, there's not a bad seat in the house. You have the wall in, right field, 21 feet high. You have the Allegheny River there with the big scoreboard and the Roberto Clemente Bridge, and then the skyline, especially at night, with all the buildings lit up, makes PNC look amazing. So that's number 1, but for me, Petco Park's number 1. But what do you think for you guys out there? What would be number 1? All right, so the Hall of Fame class, real quick, came out earlier, I think last year, I should say. But there were 3 only new Hall of Famers this class. Ichiro Suzuki got in, obviously amazing, coming from Japan. If you combine the hits from Japan and here, he has the most hits ever, but I don't do that. But he was amazing for the Mariners, Marlins, and Yankees. I saw him taking batting practice one time at Angel Stadium, and just seemed like he could hit a home run whenever he wanted to, but he chose not to. He chose to play the game instead of just trying for home runs, and something that's lost. But his speed, the drag bunting, he was just amazing for those Mariner teams. CC Sabathia got in. I was kind of shocked, but his win and loss record was pretty good. Look at the strikeouts, all the years with Cleveland, and 1 year with Milwaukee, rental, and then with the Yankees, won the championship in '09. So he gets in. And then Billy Wagner. This was kind of a shocker to me, but he finally gets in. I think they're getting a closer in every year, it seems like. And there's more to go, too. But Billy Wagner, remember the fireballer with, mostly the Astros, the Phillies, the Mets. Might be another team in there. But he gets in, the closer from the 90s and 2000s. And then the Classic Baseball Era Committee also elected Dick Allen and Dave Parker. Dick Allen did pass away a few years back, and he was a outfielder for the White Sox and the Phillies. reverse that. The Phillies and the White Sox. Power hitter, pretty good fielder. And then Dave Parker, who my mom loved. Cannon of arm, won championship with 79 Pirates and I think the 1990 Reds as well. Just a force when he was really good. He was built like a football player, had the moonshots, the big contract with the Pirates, and his numbers just finally added up because there's all these new gen numbers and wins above replacement. And it seems like that's why Allen and Parker got in. So the class of 2025 will be inducted Sunday, July 27th at Cooperstown, New York. The snubs to me were Carlos Beltran and Andrew Jones, but I don't know if anybody else, but they just missed it, by the way. They had 70. Jones had 70%. You gotta get 75. And then Beltran had 70. Andrew Jones had 67. I want to say. So switch that up. All right. Let's talk really quick about Justin Turner, former Dodger, by the way. He went on not a little rant, but just a stagnation about his time with the Mariners. And he basically says, quote, "What the hell are we doing? Are you trying?" He was talking about his time with the Mariners. I remember watching a game in September with him against the Angels, and he hit a couple home runs. But the Mariners, remember, had a disappointing 2024. They only won 85 games, and they fell one game short of wild card berth. And now they've missed the playoffs in back-to-back years after snapping their two-decade postseason drought in 22. And the Mariners didn't do much in the offseason, especially with starting pitching. But they signed Donovan Solano, a bench player from San Diego, and re-signed second baseman Jorge Polanco, and that's it, really. But Turner acknowledged earlier this week he had an interest in returning, but instead, I forget where he went, but he's not there. He says, quote, "The fact that they missed the playoffs by one game and didn't go out and add an impact bat or two when you have the best pitching staff in baseball just seems absurd to me. Honestly," he says, "as much as I wanted to be back there, if I was the only piece they brought back in, I would be saying the same thing. What the hell are we doing? Are you even trying?" Quote, he says, "There's not going to be a better time to go for it, so I don't know what they're doing. I'm very, very confused. It's a head scratcher for me." So their opening day payroll, by the way, is $144 million. They want to get it. It's up more from the last couple years, but it's also below their opening day roster in 2017. So that's kind of odd to say, but or odd the way that is, because you figure more time in the future, your payroll should go up. But Justin Turner had some parting shots for the Mariners as he left. All right, some Dodger talk, but we have to. Shohei Ohtani and the expectations of next season. Of this season, I should say. Can he put up the same numbers and be back on the mound? Remember last year he hit 54 home runs, had 197 hits. He drove in 130. He was obviously the NL MVP, no doubt about it. But I'm wondering with the pitching that he has to come back with, and they keep bringing him up and down with spring here. Maybe he'll start in April, late April or May as being a starter. But he'll have to add that into the return. He's been uncomfortable, of course, but he should be able to get back to it, being a starter. But I bet he's going to be a little bit off. He's going to be 30 years of age now. So I think he's probably going to hit 51 home runs. He'll probably drive in 125. And with the wins and loss record being a pitcher, he'll probably be 10-6. There'll be times where the offense of LA will get him across the finish line. But that's my predictions on number 17's numbers. What do you think will be his numbers this year for LA? And then also some more Dodger talk as we get out of here. Dave Roberts got extended. His contract will run through 2029, a 4-year extension. Of course, they won the World Series last year, and it felt like closure as he gets this extension. He said the reports say it was worth $32.4 million. It could be the highest average salary for all the managers, topping a 5-year deal that Craig Counsell got to go from the Brewers to the Cubs. That was worth $40 million, but Roberts will be given more once that extension kicks in next season. So Roberts this is his 10th year with the Dodgers already, and he has the highest winning percentage in Major League history at .627. He's 52 years of age. He has 2 World Series titles now. He's been to the playoffs every year with the Dodgers, by the way, and he's only missed the division title once in 21, as the odd Giants won that year. He has 9 straight years of making the playoffs. An NL record, by the way, not the Reds, not the Phillies or not really Mets, but not the Giants. The Dodgers have that now. So he's won 4 NL pennants and 8 NL West titles. So Roberts just says he's reached closure with the contract talks, and he played 10 years in the major leagues. I think he was with Cleveland, the Red Sox, the Dodgers, the Padres, and I think that was it. But Roberts is back with the Dodgers for even more as they try to, go back to back and more. All right, so that's going to be the end of our show with Around the League here, the episode 3. We covered a lot. Make sure you go into the comments to, take in and give your opinions about what I talked about. Be sure to check out all the sponsors and all the shows here on HITI, and we'll see you next time with episode 4. Take care, folks.
Big game change.